Now, welcome back. You may notice things look possibly a little bit different. First of all, my bed over here is missing the sawmill. And that's because, honestly, it's been a long time since I've last checked in. I've been doing a lot of grinding, a lot of building, and a lot of things have changed. You can't quite see them out the window, but once we walk out here, you can definitely see that some things have changed.
I must admit it makes me chuckle every time.
This is the Mallerton Library. My library, more precisely. This will be the base of operations. Got a little potato farm moved back there. And since I kind of skipped the grinding and building portion, I neglected to log it, I figure I'll give a tour and a brief recap of events. Starting off, obviously you can see we have just a bit of a platform down here. May set some stuff up later, or otherwise maybe plant a tree or something for some greenery. A bit drab at the moment, but I plan on improving it. This just goes up to the upper level of the village, and this goes up to the library, of course. Back here is the device which I've used to collect a lot of the smooth stone and stone bricks for this build. It's been truly invaluable. If I didn't have this, it would be very, very annoying. Also, it's helped a lot because it acts essentially as an XP bank. So for example, if you were to put a lever down and disable these hoppers, you could then extract the item out of there, and you would get the XP for every stack of every item that you smelted previously, since the last time you took something out. So that's been very helpful for enchanting things, which I'll get into in a little bit, but for just right now, we'll head down to this little tunnel here. And this is just a little utility spot. It's a little space I left open in case I wanted to put a machine or something down here later, in case, in fact, that's what this is planning to be. However, I need some eggs. But this will be an egg farm. And then here is the method by which I've been acquiring all of my stone. I stand here, and I hold left click. Isn't that exciting? Yes, but it's been a lot of that. With the enchanted diamond pickaxe, it's been a lot faster. However, I will admit it is still a bit of a grind. Not really anything worth reporting on. Oh, the torch here. It's a bit dark down here. And outside. I plan on using lanterns at all of these posts and things to give a little more light out here. As you can see, we have another platform up here, leading into the main entrance to the library. So just to be clear, as you can see, I have mainly finished the exterior. The interior needs some work, it needs bookshelves, it needs a lot of things to make it feel more lived in, more organic type of thing. But as you can see here, this is just a bit of construction. Not quite sure how I want to get to the attic yet, which is where the main study will be. But yeah, as you can see here, we just have a basic 2 floors. And then what's actually going on here, as you can see, this is what I like to call the South Atrium. Got that nice big glass dome up there, a stained glass relief featuring a Scriptor Magicae book, as well as a nice little terrace from the 2nd floor. And what the South Atrium has sort of acted as while I've built the main wing over there is just as a sort of impromptu base for me to have some space to put down enchanting related things, get stuff going a little bit faster, be closer to the build itself since I'm literally in it. So I built this cylinder kind of shape here first, and then the rest of the library came off of that. But yeah, as you can see, I've primarily been grinding, but I have done a little exploring, mainly for this little mod over here. I may get more in-depth with it at some point. There's not really any good tutorials for this mod, so I'm thinking maybe I might make one. However, so essentially what this mod allows you to do, though, is through a series of steps, it allows you to take these pages, and through combining them, create essentially any enchanted book that you could normally get from an enchanting table. And that's been very useful for getting efficiency 5 picks. Primarily the one that's actually in here. Although it's a bit in disrepair at the moment. Gotta get some extra diamonds, and I have them too. Yes, and then over here is a far less complicated mod. Something similar, approaching apotheosis from the forge side of things. We are on fabric currently. However, this mod is much simpler, whereas you just apply metal to bookshelves and it makes them stronger. You get stronger enchantments. They're a little stronger at the moment. Each of these iron bookshelves counts for about 2 enchanting power, as opposed to the vanilla bookshelf counting for 1. And the copper ones count as 1.5, I believe. But yes, this was just to, help terraform the area, because I actually did have to dig out a large section of land to install this here. And of course, on my explorations, I have found some extra pages, extra money and things, extra books, spell books primarily. The main spell that's been getting use out of me for certain is going to have to be this one. That's right, it's just a reusable ender pearl, basically. The range on it is middling. It's pretty good. I have figured out how to extend it. So you can see there, I do get a hunger debuff. Never seems to affect me as much as hunger normally does, but it does make the haste last for a full minute and 5 seconds. In which case, it's a lot more useful like that. And yes, this spell can be replicated verbally as well. Are the keywords there. And again, I may get more into depth with that in a later video. However, I'm not sure if I can do a tutorial on this one, because the nature of Scriptor Magicae is that it is in fact randomized. You have to figure everything out for yourself, the grammar, the words, everything. Luckily, it's relatively simple. It's not quite as complex as learning an actual language or anything. The grammar rules are comparatively very, very simple, but it is quite fun figuring it out, to be honest. But yes, from up here we have a nice little terrace, of course, to look down at what I plan on turning into a reading area. Thinking of adding seats and things like that. Maybe some extra bookshelves out here, but it seems like it would be a nice sunroom for reading. Down this way, we have the other staircase there. I'm going to add some railing. This is just a small terrace out here. You may have seen it from the front there. Of course, we can kind of see the roof and everything. And then there is an attic, however, it's incredibly unfinished. I can head up there real fast, just to show you the space that is up there. But it's a bit tight. But I plan on making this essentially storage out here, a bit of a door, and then a main study and like bedroom type area back there. I feel like being on the top floor like this, it'll feel a little bit insular and nice. Maybe I'll have a spiral staircase going up right here or something. This space is quite oddly shaped and unused. But yes, as you can see, a lot has indeed changed. But it's all been rather boring, unexciting change, but nothing particularly crazy. I just think that this is a good start here. I think that once I get everything kind of spread out, moved in, it'll feel pretty cool. I did also make it in mind, so as you can see, the front bits are a bit curved here, of course. As you can see, it's got a bit of an odd footprint. However, as you go back, the corners are now absolutely square at the back, and that is for a reason. That is to open it up to expandability in the future without having any issues with the curves or anything. But that is to allow for easier expansion, because I have to imagine if I'm going to be here for a long time, this probably won't be the only thing I build. However, yes, that really is pretty much all for the time being. However, you must realize that with the finishing of this base and finishing up this grind and everything, this is where everything else kind of begins. Primarily, all of my progress has been dedicated to figuring out the fastest ways to dig out this area to get the stone to build this. So from here on out, a bit more free to pursue whatever I feel like pursuing. We'll have to be getting a lot more bookshelves. That is going to be a bit frustrating. However, yes, I will check back in. There's something of more note. Oh yes, and I suppose it would be prudent to get you up to speed on all of the other things that have kind of come about. Obviously, we have the enchanting tables that we showed earlier. So, besides that, I think it's time for us to talk about the Nether. So I have been going to the Nether. You noticed the portal at some point earlier. It was originally underneath here, but it stuck out a bit, had to be moved. However, I have been going to the Nether primarily to kill pigmen and things for XP. I thought going to another fortress would be a good idea, but due to some particularly nasty enemies that spawn there, they are not a good time. However, they do drop some very good weapons. I may show that off in a moment. But pretty much all I've got going on here. You come down this spooky cobblestone staircase. Try not to fall. At your step, of course. I should probably put a railing or something in. But yes, if you can, when there's pigmen around, at least, zombified pigmen, you can shoot them from up here. Of course, I don't have weapons at the moment. You can also see that I died very many times. But yeah, you would shoot them. They'd all get mad in an area, because that's how they work. Oh, thank you for demonstrating, sir. And then they drop into this pit here, where you can slice and dice them while you stand here. I think if they're in that back corner, they're a little too far away. It works just fine. Also, they're typically angry at you, so they're pressed right up against here, typically. Alright, I'm gonna head back out of the Nether. Now, the reason I'm trying to rapidly catalog all of this is because something is beginning to feel a bit off. I've heard reports about some sort of fortress or something discovered. I think something bad is about to happen, so I put this piece together with a little bit of grinding. I have a feeling that whatever is coming is going to happen soon. Don't know if I'll have time to get enough experience to enchant it, but yeah, something just, the energy. Something with the spells, it seems like they're working differently or something. I'm unsure entirely what it could entail, but I feel like if we're not prepared for it, it could be a bit disastrous. Gotta think of more ways to prepare for this. The only problem is I don't really have any way of doing direct damage with my words. The best I can do is summoning lightning, and it doesn't do much. I need to find more words, but finding more words would mean going back to the Nether. I don't think I'd want to do that without protection. I'm out of other materials. I don't have a lot of time to grind, but I don't want to sacrifice the last trick I have up my sleeve here. As you can see, the armor pairs with a blade. This is actually dropped from those incredibly obnoxious monsters in the Nether Fortress I was speaking about. All of their weapons have varying degrees of enchantments from sharpness 1 to sharpness 4, looting 1 to looting 3, etc., etc. And not only that, they have 2 of them. As you can see here, this was also dropped from the same guy that I killed, which took quite a long time because they actually have quite a lot of health as well. They're also quite fast. Probably the only thing that saves me is that they're too tall to fit into small gaps. Goodness, I don't have time and I'm sitting here debating what to do. Pacing back and forth in my library trying to think about and get the levels for this. I feel like I ought to just mine more and hopefully I get enough ore mined that it's enough experience. You haven't been introduced to this pickaxe yet, by the way. As you can see, it's rather good. If we attempt to spot mine, we should be fine. Something bad is happening. Based on where it is. I think we ought to do something about it. In the middle of the night. Gotta make it to the stronghold. No, I've heard that the fortress is somewhere under relic space. We're gonna have to head there. Find out more when I get there.
I'm most
Hello
definitely in the
there.
boat.
Oh.
My